Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in for another show. Thank you so much for all of our members, subscribers, viewers, all of the new subscribers as well. Welcome back to another live stream, another very interesting live stream we have tonight. I didn't post a video earlier on. I might have one after this live stream. So there's a lot of talk today in this live stream, and it's going to be primarily around the latest footage that Hezbollah revealed and Israel's response. Hezbollah's latest footage that they revealed about their Hudhud special edition, right? Special edition Hudhud, not episode 3 yet. Taking video footage of one of Israel's the most important air base in the north, called Ramat David. Obviously, Hezbollah is sending messages to Israel with all of this, and there's a reason they sent it when Netanyahu was going to the United States as well. They revealed a lot of information that I will be discussing in this live stream. By the way, I'm going to give you all of the details, and I'm going to tell you about the battle that not many people are talking about, in which Hezbollah are humiliating Israel. It's the shadow war. They are destroying Israel and humiliating them with the shadow war, with the level of intelligence that they have, the level of intelligence, the level of sophistication, detailed information. Everything is so accurate, and Israel is frustrated. Israel is disturbed. Israel is frustrated, and Israel is disturbed as well. I'm going to start off by telling you, and obviously, if you're new to the live stream, welcome. The live streams are a little bit more in-depth. I also post regular videos on my video tab. If you prefer shorter videos, you can go ahead to my video tab. If you prefer more in-depth talk, you can stay here and join us regularly in this live stream, because obviously the space is open for the community too, in which you can participate and share your thoughts and views, and also direct any questions for me that I will address after I talk about the details of the live stream. I'm going to start off with what Hezbollah said. Because, many people tell you, okay, they published details and images. People will think, okay, they published images. Okay, so what's new about that? All right, so you sent a drone and you published images about an Israeli base and well, a couple of things. Firstly, you can't get satellite images on Israel like any other country. That's number one. Go zoom in Google, you'll see the map of Israel blurred when you try and zoom in. Secondly, they didn't just publish footage of the base. They are publishing footage with every single rat in the base. They're publishing details with everything. Storage, units, rooms, garages, fortifications, what's not fortified, the people, the names, the commander of the base, his details, where the people reside who serve in the base. All of that shows a lot of things, and I'm going to talk to you a bit more about that after I speak to you about Hezbollah's official report surrounding this. So, Hezbollah, they gave us details. They gave us details about this, apart from the video. They said the war media of the Islamic resistance in Lebanon showed a special episode of scenes of the Hupu, right? The Hudhud, Hupu is called in English, monitoring the Israeli Ramat David air base in northern occupied Palestine, which is 46 kilometers from the Lebanese border. The video, titled "Some of What the Hoopoe Returned With," was shot on Tuesday, the 23rd of July 2024, and includes detailed look at the Israeli Ramat David Air Base. It is also called the Ezer Weizmann Base and bears the military symbol Military Wing Number 1, and is considered the only air base in northern occupied Palestine. The only air base in northern occupied Palestine. This base includes a group of air specialties distributed between fighter jets, combat helicopters, transport and rescue helicopters, in addition to maritime reconnaissance helicopters and offensive electronic warfare systems. The operating organic formations include 3 combat squadrons, which are Wadi 109, First Battle 101, and Scorpion 105. These formations include the Naval Intelligence Squadron, Protectors of the West 193, and the Electronic Warfare Squadron 157, in addition to 4 staff squadrons for support, maintenance, and management services. So they're telling you every single thing, but we haven't reached everything yet. The resistance monitored garage number 13 and 15. The garage numbers too. Aircraft fuel tank squadron command 109, a communications dome, Iron Dome platforms, ammunition stores, in addition to runway 1709 and squadron maintenance department 109. It's as if Hizbullah are welcoming you to the base. It's as if you're going to a hotel and Hizbullah are telling you, oh, this is room number 7, and here's where's the pool, that's the jacuzzi, here's where you're going to have your breakfast. All of that, and they're just shooting it right from their drone. Clearly the drone is shooting images from the top. They have images from the ground. That's what people need to think and remember. Their Hudhud, they don't have the capacity to monitor everything and zoom into every single detail. Right? They give you clear footage, and they monitored them twice too. They released footage of them in the evening too, in the night beforehand. The Hoopoe also monitored the fighter jet ammunition yard, garage number 9, and the command of Squadron 157, in addition to the hangars of Squadron 157, the command of 105, garage number 17, 2, and 4, and unfortified garages belonging to Squadron 101, in addition to the command of Squadron 101 and 160. So Hezbollah is giving you way more detail than any hotel reception would give you if you want to go to a hotel, and all of that is for an Israeli base. The scenes also included garage number 5, the air navigation radar dome, and the technical section of Squadron 193. Al-Hudhud also monitored the base's command building. The war media explained that the current base commander is Colonel Asaf Ished. The colonel. Who is he? Who is the commander? Who assumed his position on the 26th of July 2022. A CV as well. He previously held several leadership positions, including Squadron Commander 101. He was born on the 12th of January, 1979. They're giving you the CV of the commander too. The special scenes that the Hoopoe returned with included the officers' quarters, the fortified building of the base's command, the command and control center, the engine maintenance department, the aviation college, the F-15 aircraft, inspection hangars, the maintenance squadron command, the helicopter squadron command 193, in addition to the Apache combat helicopter rack and the main control tower. The Islamic Resistance presented the previous night survey of the base. They didn't say when. Where these night scenes showed the intersection points of the runways and the combat helicopters landing pad. The scenes also included observations of Panther naval reconnaissance helicopters, fighter jet fuel capsules, aircraft fuel tanks, and C-130 air transport aircraft. The war media concluded the scenes with the phrase, weaker than a spider's web. This is a sentence that Hezbollah's Secretary General Said Hassan Nasrallah likes to use a lot, that Israel is weaker than a spider's web. In addition to what was previously revealed in the films of the Hudhud 1 and 2 about the resistance high capabilities in photography and reconnaissance, the failure of the enemy systems to detect drones, the accuracy of the information it obtained about sensitive sites, and thus the ability to attack sites, the shortcomings of the Iron Dome and David Sling systems, the ability to adapt to the enemy's tactics, and the psychological and strategic impact on it. In addition to announcing full readiness to war and responding to external threats. A source in Hezbollah indicated that the resistance revealed in these scenes the true identity of the base leader, who is one of the biggest which is one of the biggest military secrets in the Israeli entity. Again, and then they're publishing the images, the name, when he was born, when he took his position, what he worked previously. All of these are secrets. Israel hides the images of these people usually, but Hezbollah, they have photos, CVs, all of the details. The importance of the targeted airbase, as it considered one of the most important airbase in the enemy entity, that's according to Hezbollah, and is one of with the only military base in the north, includes shells of all air specialties, interception, landing, attack. We will distribute detailed information about the importance later. So, not only the footage, detailed information, departments, sections, rooms, equipment, people, the commander, where they sleep, what's fortified, what's not fortified, how it's protected, what are the vulnerabilities. Where are they getting all of that information? Okay, now before I go to what Israel said, we had a couple of interesting comments from Israel. And the preparations for a ground invasion. We had 2 drills before, now we have another one. It was published today. What is this supreme sophistication from Hezbollah? I mean, I've been speaking about their high level of intelligence and sophistication from the beginning, but every time they surprise us. They surprise us with more and more information and capabilities, and this has been going on for 10 months. Where is Israel's response? What are they doing? Israel is usually very protected, very secretive when it comes to its information. See, that's the thing. Most of us saw this base for the first time in history. Like I myself, I didn't see this base before. Who knew all of this? And Hezbollah are publishing all of the details to all of the world, not just to them and sending a message. They're publishing the images to everyone. Everyone with an interest, here you go, free info for you. They're undeniably sending a message to Israel by this release, but they're sending free info to everyone else. We didn't know about this Ramat David. We didn't know what Israel was putting inside it. Where were they taking the... Hezbollah published everything. So, extremely high levels of sophistication, and Israel has no response. Israel has no response to Hezbollah's invasion. But we had statements. Okay. The head of a municipality, council area in Amek Israel in Israel, she said that what Hezbollah published was extremely disturbing. Extremely disturbing. The acts of 7th of October, they force us to rethink how we fly our fighter jets. These images, this footage is many more times more disturbing than things that happened previously. And she revealed that there were confirmations in Israel, there were reports that Israel was planning to have a civil landing area next to the base. But now, with Hezbollah releasing this footage, they put all of these plans to rest. If anyone was thinking of having anything civil there, you can forget about it. This is what I wanted to tell you about the Hudhud, the special edition Hudhud from Hezbollah. And slight response from Israel, because we didn't have many official responses in Israel. But we did hear that they're having a drill. Now, they had 2 drills. Division 36 has been there 5 months ago. Ever since they withdrew from Gaza, ever since they withdrew Division 36 from Gaza, they went up to Lebanon. And they had multiple drills. We heard reports about them having drills in Cyprus, on mountainous terrain. We heard reports saying that they practiced the long-range attack on Yemen in Cyprus. They practiced refueling in Greece when they carried out the attack against Yemen. But now they're having another drill. They're having another drill to prepare for an invasion in Lebanon. Although everyone is telling them, you know what you're going to expect in Lebanon. Many of them really and truly know what they're going to expect in Lebanon, but they're led by Netanyahu. This man is capable of hastening the demise of Israel. That's the only thing that he's been doing for the past 10 months. He's hastening the demise of Israel. If there's a self-destruction button in Israel, he's sitting on it. If there's a bottle of poison that would kill the state, he's gulping it. So the report in the Times of Israel, it said that the IDF, they had a drill that simulates battles in Lebanon as preparation for an invasion of the north. This past week, reservists of the IDF's Alon Brigade carried out a drill simulating fighting in Lebanon, which the military says is part of the Northern Command's efforts to increase readiness amid heightened tensions on the northern border. The drill included movement in complex terrain, advancing along a mountainous route, and using firepower in various scenarios, the IDF says. The IDF says members of the Reserve Infantry Brigade also practice logistical support, communications, and extracting wounded troops under fire. They're going to have to practice extracting a lot of wounded and dead troops under fire. That's the main thing that they need to be practicing on if they want to invade Lebanon. If I were them, I'd only focus on training on how to extract wounded and dead troops. Israel has warned it can no longer tolerate Hezbollah's presence along its border. They can no longer tolerate the presence of Hezbollah. No one in the world tolerates your presence, Israel. Can someone say that to them? No one's tolerating your presence. Who are you saying they're not tolerating Hezbollah's presence? Unbelievable. It's like a joke, some of these reports. But that's what they're saying. We can no longer tolerate Hezbollah's presence along the border following Hamas October 7 attacks. And he has warned that should a diplomatic solution not be reached, it will turn to military action to push the Hezbollah northward. It will become military action to push the Hezbollah northward. If they will take military action, I'm telling you, they're going to be pushing Hezbollah southward. That's what's going to happen. If Israel goes on a war with Lebanon, like the Secretary General of Hezbollah said, firstly, they will have no tanks left. That's number one. It's not like they're going to suffer from shortage. There will be no tanks. Hamas already targeted 1,000. Hamas on their own. The Palestinian resistance targeted 1,300 genocidal vehicles in Gaza, 1,000 of which are tanks. Hizbullah, Israel will go bankrupt. They already destroyed them in 2006. In one day, it was called the Merkava massacre. Hezbollah destroyed over 36 massacres, burnt to pieces in one day. They were going down a valley to Lebanon. All of them were totally burnt. And now they're talking about invasion, which is ridiculous. But again, the counter argument is Israel is led by people who are ridiculous, who are psychopathic, ridiculous people, genocidal psychopaths, who are capable of doing something to harm their country. Because all of the things that they've done so far in the past 10 months have harmed their country tremendously. They're calling it an existential threat. What is an existential threat? Your reaction to what happened. Your reaction to what happened first and foremost. They had another way, but they chose this way. And they have the capacity to go to Lebanon. And like I said, if they would, if there's anyone with an ounce of brain in the Israeli army, they would focus on exercising how to rescue the casualties, the killed and the wounded from Lebanon, because there will be no one in Lebanon if they go on an all-out war in Lebanon. This is what I wanted to share with you guys. And thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I'll open the space up for all of you now, for your participation, for the community's participation. Thanks again for tuning in for another live stream. And before we go to the questions, I already have people sending supers. Thank you so much for that. Munzer Shihab, thank you so much. And Jay Abdul Malik, thank you so much for your supers. Much appreciated. And for your kind support. Thank you very much for this. Let's see if we have anything from the top before we miss anything. And then we'll go down to the bottom section with current live chat. And thank you so much for everyone who's greeting. GI, greetings from Edinburgh. Greetings back, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm glad I gave you a laugh. Molly's saying they probably even know how many times they go to the bathroom. Good one, Molly. I think they know how many times they fart. Hizbullah have a fart calculator. They know every time an IOF soldier farts, Hezbollah records it. But no, seriously, it's mind-boggling. Athi is saying Shaitanyahu went to lobby US to fight Iran. US be like, no, no, no. They already told him, no, no, no. Biden gave him the cold shoulder. I mean, even Biden with his limited capabilities managed to give him a cold shoulder. He also got the cold shoulder from the top figures in the army as well. They told him, we won't be able to defend you with Hezbollah at the same level that we defend you with Iran, let alone with Iran. With Iran, they told him only defense. And at the time, Biden told him, you achieved success, take the success. You had a victory, take it. A victory by just defending. That was never the case before. Before, the tone was, if Israel is hit, we will annihilate them, and. But clearly now, you're talking about a different equation. Imran is saying, shouldn't they keep this information secret and use it when they need to attack? Just letting the enemy know what you know about them will help an enemy to prepare beforehand. Interesting. And it has the option to prevent your enemy from doing something against you because they know how vulnerable they are. That's another thing here. And we already saw evidence of this vulnerability. Firstly, many people in Israel say we lost the north. Hell, Antony Blinken said Israel lost sovereignty in the north. Certain settlements said we no longer recognize the connection between us and Israel. We're disconnecting from the government and from the IDF. And official statements from the government, official warnings were handed to the residents in the north. Prepare for days without electricity, food, energy shortages, no medication, no nothing, no communication, nothing. That petrifies them. So by Hizbullah showing that, they're showing them the leverage. And now they understand the equation in Israel. They understand the equation. No matter how arrogant they are, then they have heaps of arrogance, these people in Israel. Arrogance, supremacy, entitlement. They were born with this behavior, with this entitled, arrogant behavior of we can do whatever we want and no one can do anything to us. But now they're getting humbled. We have a new equation. There's a new equation, and they're slowly but surely facing reality. They didn't face reality in a good manner. They're facing it in a hard manner. And even with this hard manner, some people are still in denial and prefer to keep their heads in the sand. So I think it's very important, especially at a psychological warfare level, and it could also prevent Israel from conducting certain strategic attacks in Lebanon, because everyone knows in Lebanon that Israel can target everywhere, but in Israel they don't know what Hezbollah is capable of targeting, not necessarily all of them. Now they're giving everyone the info. And I hope that elaborates, and that was from Imran. Thank you so much for that. And another thank you so much for the virus 455. Thank you so much, my friend. And Ron, thank you so much for your super. Ron is saying, Salam. Is it possible that you could draw any parallels between the strategies and tactics used by the resistance in Iran and the strategies and tactics used by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam during war? Jazakallah. That's a very interesting observation and request. Look, the parallels are evident in the way the war is approached rather than the mechanisms of the war itself. Why? Because we've had 1,400 years of advancement. But what I would say the most significant thing is the level of unbelievable faith and belief that these people carry out their resistance with. Their aim, their focus, their faith, their persistence, and all of that is very evident. It's very evident to people who have no connection to the region and its culture and its religion or anything of the sort. You will see people shocked by the level of faith and belief that these people have. And that's the connection. That's the true connection. And whereas tactics used to be used in a different manner previously, because you had people battling army versus army directly, people versus people, and now you're talking about we're talking about drones, we're talking about intelligence, we're talking about spying, we're talking about all of these things. And there are small comparisons, but not to a level where you can say it's in parallel with that. But I think the main thing is really that element of approach towards it, which makes things work. And what is called i'dad, preparation. There was preparation then, and there is preparation now. And I hope that elaborates. And again, thank you so much for your super. That's from Ron. And let's see where we reached. Oh, Paul, Mahmoud, did you see the maggots in Netanyahu's hotel? Comments, lol. Yeah, I did. That's why I said worms or maggots. they delayed the publication of his residing place up until the last second, and there were massive protests, and people managed to get in the hotel and put these maggots or worms inside. And he had the audacity to start criticizing the protests in the US. Oh, they support Hamas and they are funded by Iran and. Typical garbage. And he's talking to his lobbies, like, you know, it's not like he's talking with anyone else, really. He's talking with the people that AIPAC pays and blackmails. You know, Lord knows how many of them have evidence of them with underage girls, apart from the money that they're getting. And of course, they'll clap. Of course. Otherwise, I'll release the footage. So clap for me, please. And they'll clap for him. And that was from Paul. And Dennis Huggins, thank you so much for your super. He said, missed several live broadcasts, but listen later. Good, informative listens. Thank you so much, my friend. I'm glad you're with us live. Omar Zakhud said something very interesting. Omar, thank you so much for that for your membership, my friend. He said a great parallel is also to bring attention to is the treatment of prisoners of war. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, prohibited torture and mistreatment. Look at our prisoners compared to theirs. That's an exceptionally important parallel. Thank you so much for that addition. And look at it now. Look at it now. Look how the Palestinian resistance treats the prisoners. And look at how Israel treats the prisoners. And that's a very important observation. Manuel, thank you so much for your super as well. Kyle, when will the Palestinian Authority finally be toppled? The Palestinian Authority will be toppled with Israel. They're connected with each other. At least in its current form and with its current route and its current policies. Teshikoma, are there any updates from Abu Ubaidah and Abu Hamza? Abu Hamza, I think he had a statement not long ago. Abu Ubaidah, not since I think the last time we spoke about it. And the battle is carrying. It's carrying on. Israel is now in Khan Yunis again, killing people, massacring people. And according to them, they're having lots of successes. What are the successes? You know, I try and find out what are the successes. So we read up about the successes. Oh, our forces had a lot of success in occupying the north and eastern parts. What do you mean occupying the north and eastern part? By having several forces inside, what is the accomplishment on the ground? What is the accomplishment on the ground? We just had a report in Israel a couple of days, yesterday actually. I intended to obviously talk about it, to also talk about it in a separate video, saying that Hamas on a personnel level are at the same level. Hamas at a personnel level are at the same level like they were in the beginning of the war. We just want to make sure that they don't have the same capacity in terms of weapons as before. And they're saying that we achieved massive success by occupying the north and east. And what they describe by occupying is having limited forces. What is occupying? Occupying without being established. Occupying when facing resistance, forcing you out. Do you think if they haven't faced resistance that they would leave? Why do they go in and out and leave Gaza altogether at certain points? Is it because they're having a wonderful time and finding it very easy? No, it's because they're facing brutal resistance from Gaza. But they always come up with something new to show as if they're having some sort of an accomplishment. And Heidi Dickens, thank you so much for your super. Let's see where we reached. Gulliberg, no, I don't know where you got that from. No, unless not online or offline, really. Teshikoma, did Ansarullah hit another port? Ansarullah targeted Eilat several times after Israel attacked Yemen. I did not hear that they targeted another port apart from Eilat after that, unless I missed something. Okay, let's see if we have anything else. No, okay. Jimmy Eyes, hey, Mahmoud, the Democrats need a candidate now. That genocide Joe's out. Can you come and run for president? I'm on my way. Yeah, I'll take a plane tomorrow, prepare the campaign, and we'll start raising funds. I'm coming, Jimmy. Just kidding. Is Syria pressuring on the Golan Heights at all? That's from Paul. No. But what we have seen is more activity from Syria in the Golan Heights. Much of it was coordinated with Hizbullah. So there were attacks in certain points on the Golan Heights, and we had attacks from Syria on the Golan Heights. So from Hezbollah and from Syria. And we had Russia taking measures in the Golan Heights. Russia took several measures in the Golan Heights in the past 10 months. One of them is increase their patrols in the area. They increased their flights. They sent warning messages to Israel. In a diplomatic manner, Israel said it as it is. They're sending us warnings and threats from Syria. And these were the main things that happened, apart from obviously they had a couple of missiles launched on Israel. They launched some missiles on the Golan Heights a couple of times. Kate, did Houthis continue bombing Tel Aviv or they have stopped? Well, Tel Aviv, no. But what happened a few days ago is still affecting the people. So we had more reports coming in from people giving their feedback about what happened on the night. How did they feel? And people were petrified. They released more footage from different angles about the attack. All of them said the people. No sirens, no warnings, no nothing, which again debunks the official narrative of Israel. They said, we knew it was coming, but we couldn't intercept it. If you knew it was coming, why didn't you notify the people? You didn't know it was coming. You failed. You failed, and Ansarullah succeeded in attacking the heart of Israel. And Kate's saying, Mahmoud, can you talk about Saudi blocking banks, flights, etc. in Yemen? That now apparently is being resolved. So something happened in the background. And for those of you who don't know, Saudi Arabia, according to Ansarullah, pressured by the US administration, started to apply economic pressure on Ansarullah and blocking the Sana'a airport, applying pressure on them. Ansarullah threatened them. He said, if you continue down this path, we can hurt you. If you target our economy, we'll target your economy. If you target our ports, we'll target your ports. However, we heard in the past 2 days that they are getting things resolved. And by getting things resolved, I mean getting things resolved with the other government in Yemen. So the government that is backed by Saudi Arabia. And that is officially recognized. But we will see where that goes. We'll see where that goes. Saudi Arabia can do a U at any point. And they prove time after time that they are still facing pressure from the United States administration, and that the administration still has leverage on Saudi Arabia. If they can force them to take such hostile actions against Yemen after they had an understanding with Yemen through the deal and the reconciliation process that China brokered between Iran and Saudi Arabia just a year before, that included Ansarullah, of course, then why are you doing that now? If Saudi Arabia is a country that's only concerned about its economy, its image, they want to attract people, make it an attractive place for tourism and investment and what have you, why would you want to escalate again with Ansarullah? Clearly not for your own reasons. Not for your own reasons. It's for Israel's sake, under the pressure of the United States and maybe other countries too. We saw how many countries came to Egypt when they tried to pressure the government to enable the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians. The UK, Germany, France, all of them, they come as a whole to put pressure. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's not just the US, but the US could be the biggest country applying pressure alongside other countries as well. Lynn, Mahmoud, will they post something besides photos of intact military bases? They already did. They already did post footage of civil infrastructure, infrastructure to do with energy, economy, electricity, not just military bases. Marvin, is Israel able to get foreign workers to fill the void for workers in construction, agriculture, etc.? I think the country is almost halting. What nation's supplying labor? That's very interesting. Well, firstly, they had the labor. And again, that's another example of how Israel shoots itself in the foot. Israel relied heavily on the Palestinians from the West Bank for labor, primarily in property development. They pay them lower fees, In many cases, they mistreat them too. But the people are desperate. They want to work. So they'll go and work. And they'll make a living. They stopped that after the 7th of October. And there was a feud, an internal feud in the government, because the person in charge of this banning was Bezalel Smotrich, who is the finance minister and a person who holds a position of minister in the Ministry of Defense of Yoav Gallant. That's a trick that Benjamin Netanyahu did to cause frictions between Yoav Gallant and the others, because he doesn't like Yoav Gallant. So he put in a minister position, which was new, to save his coalition and create the coalition as well. And he creates fictional ministries too, ministers without a case to receive a salary, bribery in broad daylight. But Smotrich refused to. Gallant advised not to. And he said, no, we should keep the funding going for the Palestinian Authority, because Smotrich also banned the funding from going to the Palestinian Authority. And the argument that Gallant had was, you're posing a threat. This is a security threat. If you're not going to pay these people, they're going to think we have no interest whatsoever in dealing with you, even at an official level or security level. As a matter of fact, there was evidence of the security forces from the Palestinian Authority participating in acts of armed resistance against Israel. So they banned them, and they tried to fill the gap with laborers from India, because Modi and Netanyahu are very close. So they started bringing laborers from India. That was very, very short-lived, and it failed very quickly. They immediately started complaining about the conditions, about the pay, about the work, and many of them went back. And so far, even if we talk about the property market in construction, Israel is losing 600 million a week. 600 million a week from lack of construction. And they don't want to give Palestinians in the West Bank work permits. And they're continuing that. And it's not just construction, agriculture. When you talk about agriculture, the main areas for agriculture in Israel are the areas surrounding Gaza. Factories, lands, milk, basic food, lots of farms in that area. They've been evacuated because of the Hamas attack. 150,000 people. Most of them were working in the areas they were living in. The technology and sector, tech sector, finance, the reservists who were called to go and participate in the war, what were they doing? They were working. They were working online, tech, finance, and all other industries too. That also put a massive strain. That's why Moody's downgraded them. They had reasons for their downgrading. They also became a very unappealing place globally because of the war and with the negative projection of Moody's. And again, they try and downplay all of that. And we're just talking about the economy regardless of the military economy. So if you want to talk about the losses for the state because of the military campaign, massive losses. A Mind Over Matter saying, I heard Russia took out about 50 UK and French special forces in Ukraine. Well, UK and France put their citizens in that position. They send their people as cannon fodder for proxy wars to serve the interests of the rich. And, that's what happens in wars. People get killed. So up until people realize really and truly why they're being sent to war, who are they fighting for, you will continue to have that. People will be brainwashed and fooled and sent to war. And in many cases, you're talking about children. What are we talking? Brainwashed children are sent to war. We talk about conscription usually begins at 18, 19, 20. 18, 19, 20, you're a child being sent to war. Why? Because you're brainwashed. Because you're still stupid and thick. And not about ageism here. You can find people at that age who are very clever and intelligent. It's not about the age thing, so that no one gets things out of context here. But usually when you're younger, when you're at that age, you're not that politically aware. You don't have a lot of awareness about things that are happening at a government level. And it's very rare to see people at that age who are understanding why they're being sent to war, apart from the narrative that have been sent to them. If you're taken from school, right, and you need to consider the schooling system, why they call it school and how they indoctrinate people, immediately from this system to another system, and you're taught to listen to orders, and it's even worse in the military, what are you going to do? You're going to brainwash people, fool them. I mean, they spent a couple of years playing video games, Call of Duty and whatever it is, these games that they play, killing the baddies, and they'll go and implement it in real life. But then in real life, you get killed as well. That's what happens. It's a scam. It's a crime what the state does with its people. It's a crime. They use them as cannon fodder. They chew them in, they spit them out. And when they go back to their countries, they're neglected. They'll suffer from PTSD, from depression. They'll spend their life on prescription drugs, and they'll commit suicide. Well, there was a stat a couple of years ago in the US, 22 commit suicide a day. Where's the state that sent them to war? Where's the support? So France and the UK, the governments took a position of participating in this proxy war against Russia, and they're paying the price. They're paying the price. Ron, is it just a rumor that Russia has supplied Ansarullah with weapons? I don't think the Russians will confirm outright we supplied them, right? So I don't think you will find such a confirmation. They are rumors, but there's something behind them. There's something behind them because Russia does have an interest in groups like Ansarullah being strong. However, there is no evidence that they did supply weapons for them. Neither to Hizbullah, by the way. However, from certain evidence, you can see certain weapons are coming from somewhere, like Gaza. You had Chinese weapons in Gaza, also Russian weapons. So they wouldn't obviously confirm. However, they're seeing what Western countries are doing with Ukraine. So to them, it's like, okay, you want to support this country just next to me? Why would I not support movements that are just next to your little puppet state committing a genocide? This is the argument. Teshikoma, yes, there are more riots with the ultra-Orthodox Jews because of the forced military conscription. And they are escalating the tone. We spoke about the recent rabbi who asked his followers, who was the chief rabbi of Israel not long ago. Although in Israel now we have certain positions without anyone on them. Like the chief rabbi of Israel, vacant. A couple of other positions too. He called upon everyone to tear the papers apart. If they receive draft orders, rip them apart and throw them in the bin. And more people are protesting. They're struggling to conscript 1,000 people. Struggling. And again, why is all of that happening? Because they are suffering such immense losses in this war. They're in such need of, desperate need of people fighting. there is a lack of will to fight amongst the population and amongst the army and the reservists. People are fleeing the country and they need to fill the gap. Sophie calls Netanyahu paraded the hostages of the Congress further reinforces narrative and justifies actions. And I heard there were some people who were fighting in the IDF in the Congress too. That's a cover-up. Do you know a cover-up for what? For a press conference of Israeli prisoners who were released in Gaza, one of whom I spoke about, who actually sent the thank you letter to Hamas for treating her well and her daughter, asking Benjamin Netanyahu to sign a deal before he goes. So he wants to cover up the fact that the majority of the prisoners' families are against him. He will bring some people to clap for him, to show, look, I have people with me. When really and truly the majority of the people are against him. And in many cases, they were imprisoned. It's another thing the media won't tell you. People who were imprisoned in Gaza and released in Israel, they go and protest regularly. And they get imprisoned. Some of them get beaten by the Israeli police. They constantly have press conferences. They always blame Israel on what's happening. They always blame the Israeli government and Benjamin Netanyahu on the death of the Israeli prisoners in Gaza. They always do. But again, all of these things, they're not mentioned. They're not mentioned. They're not highlighted. It's surprising because you're talking about the people who the mainstream media speaks about so much. Well, how about you show us? And what are they saying exactly? As a whole, don't look at that, just choose one of them. Look at a whole, look in general. And that would be the last one, Sophie Cole. We'll wrap it up there. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being with me for another live stream. Thank you so much for everyone who participated. Apologies if I missed some of your comments. Usually in the live, we'll miss a few comments, but I'm here with you regularly anyway. Special thanks to Munzer, to Jay, The Virus, Ron, Dennis, Manuel, Heidi, and Ron again for all of your supers. Much appreciated. Apart from that, I might have a video after this live stream. If not, I will hopefully be with you tomorrow. Apart from that, stay blessed, take care, and I will see you soon in the next video. Peace, everyone.